Hi, this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo. Welcome to another of these amazing conversations with inspirational entrepreneurs. And my guest today is CEO and founder of the Unique approach, and you'll find out why in a moment. The Unique approach is about taking things perceived as negative and turning them into positive, life-enhancing experiences. She's a self-empowerment expert. She's passionate about educating how thoughts and emotions impact the physical body and overall health. She's a best-selling author and is now writing her second book, so we'll find out something about that. As a master intuitive and energetic master, she continues to do personal coaching, writing and speaking. Her love for educating people is the reason that she's speaking with us today. So my guest today, please welcome Sheila Unique.
Hi, Pat. It's great to be here.
And Sheila, I have to mention it, Unique is really your name, isn't it?
Yes, I married a gentleman with the last name Unique, and he did tell me life would be very interesting.
I just love it. I guess everybody assumes that you've changed your name at some time, but...
And that's about it, right? They always say, is that your real last name? Yeah.
So Sheila, tell us a bit about your early career. Did you start out as an entrepreneur, or how did you start when you left college?
Oh, interesting. I did start out in the corporate world and took business admin classes and was going to be this great successful person in the corporate world. And the universe had another idea what direction I was going. And that's when I started to learn about physical healing modalities, reflexology, colon hydrotherapy, believe it or not. I did hot stone massage. And then from there, it was interesting how I moved into the world of learning about energy and the energetics in the body.
So what drew you? Did the universe give you a nudge to move you into this work, or was it just something you got drawn into?
Great question. I remember being back where I was seconded to the United Way, and it's a way of fundraising, and I was doing a program, and while in that program, I got to be my own, what would I say, my own leader as far as when I was working, how I was working, who I was going to work with, because we had to do fundraising, and I would approach different companies and get the United Way campaign going. And I thought I died and went to heaven. This was so me. Even if I wanted to sleep in an extra hour one day, but stay up later at night, I loved it. Pat, it really turned my world around. And I went back into the corporate world and I'm going, no, 8 to 5 ain't working. I hear you.
So did you do all this training while you were still working in corporate, or did you make that shift out first?
Oh, I did make the shift and then start to do the training. I went into sales. People always said, you're so good at marketing, you're so good at sales. Well, you know, it's a different world when you're doing it for yourself. And as I learned these modalities and started working with the different people and started to see my gifts surface in a different way, it was, I knew I was going forward with that. I just knew it wasn't going to be an 8 to 5 anymore.
Yeah. So how did you first get set up? Were you purely working for yourself?
Yes, it was pretty much always working with myself. And actually, I have to step back and say, not so much always. I'm born an identical twin.
Oh.
And my story is going from identical to unique.
Yeah.
Everything growing up, we were the same. We had to even have the same number of gifts, the same time with someone, the same. And so moving now forward, I tried to get into business with my twin sister a couple of times once I left the corporate world. And that didn't work. She wasn't, we have our own journey, but to me, she was the same. And you know, believe it or not, Pat, when we were at learning about energetics and how to work with energy, a spiritual coach approached us and said, you know, you two are so close, even your partners can't get between you. from there, Pat, it was interesting that I went from talking with my twin for 2 to 3 times a day to not talking for a year.
Wow.
I had no idea what Sheila wanted, what Sheila and her husband wanted in their life, because everything was about being a twin. I had
Oh.
no idea what it was to be an individual, to be in a place where I could have what I wanted. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So you set up for yourself, you were doing these complementary approaches, and how has that developed? Where has that led you?
As far as the business that I'm in now,
Yeah.
Pat? Okay, so thank you. I have to say that I started out with life experiences. I moved into the energetic world, and I was noticing that every time I would talk about a problem I was dealing with, I noticed that my physical body would get aches and pains.
Oh.
And then when the other side of it, when I would start to talk about my aches and pains, it always led me to the conversation of what I wasn't happy with or what I was bothered with, or that was the beginning of my realization for the whole approach that I live by today, the whole approach that I teach people, express in any words that I talk about.
And was that the basis of your first book?
Absolutely. You know what? That was back in 2011. I hadn't quite established the approach yet, but that was the beginning. I only had 34 pages to be part of this mini messenger book club with the time. And I had to, my editor kept saying, okay, Sheila, what does this really mean? Because we had to narrow it down. We had to narrow it down. And she got so specific. From there, I got quick points in these chapters, which led to workshops, which led to the whole divine plan of where I'm at today. So yes, that was all instrumental. It all just, like you say, as an entrepreneur, kind of falls into place.
Yeah, what I find in these conversations is this process of evolution. I think when you're first starting out, you think there has to be a thing you do and that's what you're going to do. And, you know, it's just about marketing that thing. And then you realize that things change over time, you evolve, your thinking evolves, your clients evolve, and the business doesn't end up where it started. I'm not sure if it ever gets to a final place, actually.
Mm-hmm. And things change in the whole world around us. Like
Yeah,
one gentleman said in one of the talks that I was doing the other day, he said, experiences is the new driver for success.
yeah.
So you put it out there, and if it works, great, then people are ready for you. If it doesn't, you kind of step back and you kind of assess it again and you go, is this going to work? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So who generally do you run workshops for?
Right now I'm doing more speaking engagements, more radio shows. I do my own workshops and I run them. Mostly I'm really excited about doing them locally. I've had a transition where I did a lot of online and over the phone sessions and stuff. Now I'm going more locally, more Canadian, and keeping it as far as more hands-on with the people. I'm at the phase in my journey where it's not so much virtual as it's becoming more visceral, is how it was worded to me. In other words, more hands-on.
Yeah, so people come along and experience something with you.
Yes. Yeah, that's great.
And am I right in thinking that you've done quite a lot with educators and teachers?
Mm-hmm. I went through a phase where I was doing a lot of teacher conventions and talking with the teachers and coaching the teachers. And I've come to a place now, Pat, where that's kind of transitioning more to a place where when I think in terms of the teachers, there's like thousands of teachers. I stepped back and went, I'm narrowing down in my journey. When you talk about evolution,
Yeah.
narrowing my journey down to work with the people that really want to work with me. So having what I would say a group of 20, 25 people that I work with specifically, and using all of that to move me forward.
Fantastic. And so now, are you in the process of writing your second book or is it done?
I'm just about done. I'm excited about my second book. And you know what that's like when you get writing and then you can share it with the world. I have uh, so many things that I can share as far as personal stories, as far as client stories, the transformation, the experience going through the approach. And that's the freeing part um, that's, if I could say, Pat, it's the kind of thing where, you work with somebody one time and you share things and you're so excited, and then they go away. And it's kind of like speaking, I have a whole audience, but there's so many things I want to tell them after, right? And this is the part that's so exciting for me, that I can, through the book, say, here, I really want you to get this. Here, I want to make a difference in your world.
Oh, fantastic. So have you got a launch date yet, or is that still in the offing?
That's going to be in fall. Now,
Lovely.
I'm not sure if it'd be September or October, but I definitely have that, and I've got my editor in place, and we're just starting to get the editing going on it, and that's the exciting part. But Pat, I don't know if you experience this. It seems like with every new experience, there's more to share.
I
So I
know.
have to get to the place where I can call it, okay, enough for this one book. We got to move on. Did you experience that?
Absolutely. And now, I mean, I've written 4 books and I look back and think, oh, I wish I'd put this in, I wish I'd put that in. Will there be a second edition, or is it a whole new book? Or, it's, again, the story evolves, the messages evolve, and the lessons you take from it evolve as well.
Well, and every time you talk about it, more information comes through, and like you said, life experiences give us that. So we get an understanding, and then we start to see it living in proof. And that's the part that I want to keep adding in. And I go, oh yeah, okay, go back and touch this, because it's going to be fun.
So what do you feel is the benefit of writing a book for an entrepreneur?
I would say, Pat, writing isn't for everyone, because I
Yeah.
was talking to one of the Evolutionary Business Council members the other day, and I was saying, have you ever thought of writing books? She goes, no, writing ain't in me, right? And that was a surprise, because you talk to so many people, they say, oh, I should write a book. Okay. And everybody's message is so valuable, and it's so unique to each person. And I would say, what would be the benefit in writing a book would that you get to express what it is you're sharing with more and more clarity. And
Yeah.
it's like sitting down with somebody and giving them, here's what I'm trying to say. Just have a look at the examples I can share with you, and the approach that I take, and people can do that. And that's the beauty in it all. But I've been told by many people, Pat, that my story is real. My
Yeah.
story is real. I've walked it. I've talked it. I continue to walk it and talk it. And that's the part that I feel that's the value that I offer.
Yeah, and as you say, there's times when you can't tell your clients everything. There's just not enough time. And if you can point them to the book and give them the book, it just makes a huge difference to the service you can provide to them. And of course, personally, I found that writing each book gave me more clarity about my message.
Wow.
Because you've really got to think about what you're saying. And I learned a lot from writing my books.
And did your editor, would the editor come back and say, Pat, what are you trying to say here? And you go, oh yeah. And then it becomes more, I say it, then it becomes more of my truth. The more time I have to
Yeah.
pull out all the fluff, and then you get this message written, and then you go, oh, that's kind of cool. That's what I
Yeah.
loved about my first book. It's like, and I was told my first book is ageless and timeless. And it's the kind of thing where you can pick it up and open it up and just get a message for the day. And Pat, are you at the place where people are recognizing you for your books and things like that? When you start to speak, you come along and you go, oh, you're Pat, right?
Yeah, I get some of that, particularly with the title, because, my first book about menopause was called Hot Women, Cool Solutions.
Yes.
And that resonated with a lot of women. And so when they see me or hear me speak, they're like, I love that title, and there's something that's very lovable about the title. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
pleased with that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Pat Duckworth talking to Sheila Unique, who's a writer and a coach and a speaker. And so we're going to delve a little bit deeper now into, I often ask my interviewees about their purpose in life, because that is such a guiding light for where your business goes. So if you have a purpose in life, Sheila, what is it?
My purpose is tied into my passion. And I would have to say it's all about helping educate, and it doesn't matter who, educating people. So it's all about self-empowerment and inner strength. And when I work with someone, I can feel their energy. So I'll share with them. I say, "Can you feel that?" And they'll go, "Yeah." And I'll say, "Okay, let's get that moving, because this isn't about liking your problem. This is about being in a place of strength where you walk through it.
Yeah.
You walk through whatever's coming up, and then you end up with clarity and focus." And I talk a lot about reactions and being in a place where there's unrest. So that's been my new buzzword lately, is unrest, the world of reactions. Because when we react, we're reacting because there's unrest inside. And
Yeah.
everything's fine and we're loving what we're doing. There's nothing else to worry about. And then problems come along where you kind of get emotionally upset in some way. Well, that's the beauty in it. Those emotions, that unrest, help you to resolve and heal that inside. And that's what I'm passionate about, is helping people, leave them in a place of strength where they do get up and they go, "Okay, I'm gonna do this."
That's what we want. We want action. We want people to take action on their problems. So has that mission and that passion and purpose, has that evolved, or was that something that you felt from very early on?
People would always say, "You're so good in sales." And I go, "No, no, no, sales isn't my gig." "Oh no, Sheila, you're so good." And I had a reading by a shaman one time, and he had said, "Sheila, you have so much power, so much wisdom, and truth comes through you. People can feel that intensity." I never looked at it that way. I never said, oh, but I get excited about stuff. I just like to celebrate your book launch and to celebrate, your radio show and stuff. I get excited about that. And that's sometimes, is there a difference between a passion and everyday life stuff? Like to me, it just is every minute, every day, just really being who I can be.
What does success mean to you in your business?
That has been the toughest thing for me to walk through, is really being in a place where I honor what is intuitively coming from me, what I feel, where I'm headed, and just getting a sense of what my truth is. And that is becoming more of success to me. And along the way, does it matter what you look like? Yeah, that's important. Of course it is. We're in business. Does it matter that, I feel good about what? You bet that's important. Does it matter that I'm really living my passion? Of course it does. All of that ties in together. And that would be success to me, would be somebody who is truly, really feeling their mojo, really feeling what it is to live life their way. And if I could even use the word, the unique way, because I was so busy trying to do things like the other person to be successful, talk like the other person so then I'd be successful, write like them, and then I'd, no, it's not that anymore, Pat, but that's been part of my journey that's helped me to be where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, my next question is, if you had a tip that you could give to a new entrepreneur, what would you say to them?
My tip would be to truly find your own truth in everything that comes your way, because you're going to hear how to do things so you could be financially well off, and how to be successful, and this person experiences this, so that means that you're going to hear so many things along your journey on how to do this and how to do that. And I would just invite you through all of that wisdom that's imparted to you in anything that you're experiencing. May it be a radio show, may it be a workshop, may it be reading a book, may it even be walking into a grocery store. Always look for your truth in things. Just because somebody else says this is what you need to do does not make it your truth. So stand back and just go, you know what? That doesn't even make sense to me. Might have worked for them, but not where I'm at. And that would be my tip, Pat.
Yeah, that's a really good tip because, we're all encouraged to network as
Mm-hmm.
business owners. And you can be in a business network meeting and somebody will say to you, hey, you wrote a book. How many copies have you sold? Because in their mind, the success of it is how many have you sold? How much money did you make from it? And they can look at you a bit curious if you say, I've got no idea. Oh, surely you know. No, I don't, because actually that wasn't what was important. What was important to me was getting the message out there and making what I knew available to other people. I had to do a lot of thinking around this myself a couple of years ago, and I had to ditch all of these numerical measures because they weren't making me happy. And then I got to that stage of thinking, you know what? Success is anything that makes me smile.
Oh, Pat, that's a beautiful example. What a beautiful illustration. Bang on.
And then I had to think, okay, so what does make me smile? And if I'm working away at something and I'm not smiling, what's going on? What's the issue with it? What can I do differently about it? I love public speaking. I love sharing. I love learning to share what I know. If I learn something, I'm one of those people who just has to go and find somebody to share it with. I can't keep it to myself. What's the point?
I hear you. I hear you.
And those are the things that make me smile when somebody goes, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Where did you get that from? And, you realise that you've lit up a little bulb in somebody else's head. That makes me smile. So go find your own measure, and you've got to think for yourself, what is going to be your measure of success? And I love that, finding your truth in it and not letting other people's truths get in the way of it.
But the beautiful thing about what you shared, Pat, was the whole example of, okay, but that's how they're starting. And they're going to have their bumps and bruises along the way. Any entrepreneur is, jeepers. We walk that. I walked it. And so have our bumps and bruises. And we get to the place where it just like had enough. Ain't happening. And then a transformation happens inside and a realization surfaces, and then you find more of yourself in it and you go, okay, I'm not the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of my journey. I'm not the same, I'm unique.
Yeah. See, that's so easy for you to say.
Isn't it something how the divine brings about different things in our world?
That's wonderful. So Sheila, anybody watching, if they want to find out more about you, how can they do that?
Oh, thank you. TheUniqueApproach.com is my website. And while you're there, you're more than welcome to enter my contest to win a session with myself. Most of all I say to your audience, Pat, is I'd love to have a conversation if you're feeling stuck or you're in a place where aches and pains and you can't get past what you're moving through. I would just love to have a conversation. More and more nowadays, Pat, it's all about connecting, just like you said. It's about connecting and networking and really being there for people, which is where I'm at in my journey. So thank you for that opportunity to share.
And have you got a name, a title for your book yet? Are we getting a sneaky peek of the title?
Well, I can share that. It's going to be Your Energy Speaks Louder Than Words.
Oh, lovely. I love that.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a whole new world.
So when that book's published, I know I'm going to be involved in supporting it, and we'll be putting it out on this website so that anybody who's heard you can go and buy your book, and that'll be fantastic.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you to you all. Yeah.
So thank you for being with me, and to all our viewers, thank you for tuning in and watching this interview, and just reflect on what you've learned about it. You know, about evolution and thinking about your purpose, and also that bit about finding your truth. You know, when you're standing in your truth, that's truly success. So keep watching for more of these amazing interviews with wonderful entrepreneurs. I'll see you next time.